Hello and welcome. Have you ever made a plan for tomorrow just absolutely certain that it was going to happen? Of course, we all have. But what if there's a deeper wisdom in admitting that the future isn't totally in our control? So today, we're going to dive into a short but really powerful passage from the Qur'an that gives us a whole new way to think about our plans, what we know, and the choices that really shape our lives.
We do it all the time, right? Oh, I'll definitely call you tomorrow. Or, I'll get that report done first thing in the morning. We talk about the future with so much confidence. But this passage we're exploring, it kicks off with some really powerful advice on this exact human habit.
Just notice how strong that language is. This isn't just a friendly tip, it's a clear prohibition. The text is basically warning us against the arrogance of making these absolute statements about a future we just can't control. It's a really humbling, powerful reminder that even our best-laid plans are always subject to a will that's greater than our own.
Okay, so if we're not supposed to speak with absolute certainty, then what's the alternative? Well, it's this simple but incredibly profound phrase, Insha'Allah, which means, if God wills. Now, this isn't some kind of escape clause to get out of our promises. No, it's a fundamental shift in our mindset. It changes our plans from these bold declarations into sincere intentions, all grounded in a really deep sense of humility.
And what's really cool is that the very next verse breaks this down into a practical three-step guide. First, qualify your plans. Second, if you forget, and hey, we all do, just remember God as soon as it pops back into your head. And third, actively ask for guidance to be led toward what is right. It's really both a habit for our speech and, a discipline for our soul.
So this idea of acknowledging what we don't control, of admitting our own limits, it leads us right into the next powerful theme in this passage, the huge difference between what we can see and what remains unseen. And to bring this point to life, the text uses the incredible story of the sleepers in the cave.
The text gives us this very specific number for how long the sleepers were in the cave, 300 years, and then it adds 9 more. It's such a precise, almost startling figure. It kind of grounds this miraculous event in a measure of time that we can actually wrap our heads around. But here's the twist. Right after we're given this very specific number, the passage pivots to a much, much deeper truth. It's like the text gives us a fact just to show us that the fact itself isn't really the main point. The real lesson here is about intellectual humility, about recognizing that only God has that complete, perfect knowledge of everything we can't see. So, if our own knowledge is limited and the future is a mystery, where do we turn for some stability? The passage points us to the one thing that is certain and unchanging, God's Word. In a world full of uncertainty, that is our ultimate refuge.
From this foundation of trust in divine guidance, the passage then shifts to something incredibly practical, the people we choose to surround ourselves with. And this isn't just, social advice. It's presented as a core strategy for our spiritual well-being.
And the passage lays out a really clear choice here. On one side, you have people who are devout, they're patient, they're focused on what truly matters. On the other side, you've got those who are distracted, who are just following their own whims, their lives in disarray. The message is simple, but so profound. Choose your community wisely, because it will absolutely shape your soul.
And this whole idea of choice, the choices we make about our plans, about our friends, now it expands to the most fundamental choice of all, the choice of what to believe.
This is one of the most powerful declarations of free will you'll find anywhere. The truth has been laid bare, and the choice, to believe or not to believe, is left completely up to us. But with that incredible freedom comes immense responsibility, because every single choice has a consequence.
And the passage really doesn't shy away from describing the outcome for those who choose disbelief and injustice. The imagery is so stark and severe, a fire that traps you, a relief that only brings more pain. It's a really sobering warning about the reality of accountability.
And then, in total contrast to that image of suffering, we are immediately shown the reward for those who choose faith and goodness. The imagery just flips dramatically from pain to absolute peace and beauty. Gardens, fine silks, serene comfort. The juxtaposition couldn't be more powerful or more clear.
So, what's the fundamental principle that ties all of this together? It's the concept of a perfect and just moral economy, where our choices and our actions have real, tangible, and eternal weight.
And here it is. This is the promise that holds this entire moral universe together. It's a profound guarantee of divine justice. What it means is that no good deed, no matter how small it might seem, is ever wasted.
Every sincere effort toward doing good has value and will be accounted for.
And that leaves us with one final thought to reflect on. If we truly lived with the conviction that every small act of kindness, every moment of patience, every sincere effort is seen, valued, and preserved, how would that change the way we live our lives today?